Today I'm visiting Rotterdam University of Applied Sciences, and I'm very glad to be here, especially because I used to work here and I remember very nice years that I've spent here in this environment. And I always say that the vibe I felt in this university is very unique, very entrepreneurial, very motivational. I see students really being very active and really enjoying their studies, not just coming to boring lectures. And there are a lot of workshops, there is a lot going on all the time, events, conferences. I mean, only the building speaks by itself because it is so unique. It is huge, it is very comfortable, a lot of light, very nice atmosphere indeed. How do you feel working here?
Yeah, I love it, to be honest. So I've been here already for 6 years, done a lot of different tasks such as part of marketing, admissions, and of course communication, and working closely with the study programs on the bachelor and master level. Yeah, it's quite unique because you get to see how much work the professors and course coordinators they put behind the scenes to ensure that the skills and also the knowledge that the students are getting is actually what is going to be needed in the future. So it's also very future-proof.
So what do you think is the main, maybe you can name main 2-3 things that make you Rotterdam University of Applied Sciences unique compared to other Dutch universities?
Ooh, good question. I would say definitely the study approach because it's very practice oriented. It's very project-based. So especially if you decide to study a business program, I think that's the best way to get the knowledge in because you will get to work on real-life projects. You'll collaborate with different companies. You'll have a chance to go abroad to one of our partner universities, maybe even do an internship abroad or stay in the Netherlands and just basically apply the knowledge that you've learned. But I also say the city because Rotterdam is one of the biggest cities in the Netherlands. It's also very international. We have 180 nationalities living here, so this also translates to the staff and as well as our students. So I think it's a very diverse, very dynamic environment that brings a lot of business companies as well.
I think many international students are a bit confused about types of universities we have in the Netherlands. Yes. Of course, there are a few, but the main two things are research universities and universities of applied sciences. Can you explain what is the difference between them?
Yeah, so I think it's important first to say that actually all universities here in the Netherlands have good quality and level of education. So it's just, one is not better than the other. I would say the biggest difference is just the study approach and the environment. So for example, Dutch universities of applied sciences, they focus more on applied higher education, preparing students to be labor market ready. And research universities, they focus more on the academic and theoretical education, preparing students for scientific research and academic careers. So also in terms of the study load, I would say research universities, they really focus on the academic and also research methodologies, building their analytical skills from day one. And universities of applied sciences, it focuses a bit more on the applied theory approach, meaning that whatever you learn in classes, you immediately apply it to a real life project. That way you will be very hands-on, very practical, and building skills that are going to be useful in the future. And I think as well as, classroom environment, I think that also plays a big role because if you like to have more of a small classroom approach, more personalized attention from the professors, I would say University of Applied Sciences is a better fit.
Can you then say that this is a different type of student that usually goes to University of Applied Sciences? Can you talk about skill set?
Yeah, I would say if you're curious, if you love learning from practice, being hands-on, being also outspoken, a University of Applied Sciences is going to be a better fit because you'll also be collaborating on a lot of group projects, real life projects, theoretical projects in the sense that you're solving issues. So I would say here you really need to be proactive, staying curious, and as well as just having this energy of focusing on the how questions, how to improve something, how to implement. And with universities, like research universities, you do focus a bit more on the why questions. So if you really like to analyze data, being a bit more on the academics, also reading old scientific papers, that's kind of the vibe for that. But if you really like to kind of this fast-paced environment, the University of Applied Sciences is a better fit.
I agree. Yeah. So RUAS is very well known in the Netherlands for its business and logistics programs. What are the most popular programs for international students? Are these two, or what other programs actually attract students?
Yeah, so we're one of the biggest universities here in Rotterdam, next to Erasmus University. And when it comes to our English top programs, we really have a strong focus on the business programs, but there's also an art academy, for example, Willem de Koning. But I'll just tell you a bit more about the business programs. So I would say on our bachelor level, we do only offer one program called International Business. However, even though in year one you kind of have a broad introduction to business, in the second year you will choose your pathway for the future in a way, and you'll have a choice between supply chain. So here, of course, logistics comes really into play because here we have the biggest port of Europe. Then you'll have commerce, marketing, and organization and change. And then you'll continue with your different business core subjects. But also on the master level, I would say there is a very nice, intense program called International Supply Chain Management. So if you are really looking for this logistics knowledge, I would say at RUAS, that's where you'll find it, because we have very strong connections to the port as well as the course coordinators and professors. They come from the industry, so they bring that industry insight into their classrooms.
Can you share some real life learning or internship opportunities that students have at the university? Because that's why most students come to universities of applied sciences, and specifically in Rotterdam, I'm sure there are many opportunities. Can you share some examples?
Yeah, of course. So if I just now, for example, take our bachelor program, in the third year, all of our international students, they have to do an internship. And not only international students, every IB student actually, but international students have a choice to either stay in the Netherlands or go abroad. So of course, we encourage students to go abroad because also a unique element of this program is the language learning. We offer about 9 languages. So also, for example, if you choose Spanish, we will ask you to do maybe consider doing your exchange or internship in a Spanish-speaking country, because then not only you get work experience from your specialization, but also you get to know the business culture of a different country. On our master level, there is a lot of cross-border collaborations, I would say. Right now, our consultancy program, if I'm not mistaken, so we also have a master in consultancy entrepreneurship. They are doing a project called Pressure Cooker Week. So then with a partner university, they've been collaborating for like months, and right now the students are meeting, they're having different activities, and at the end of the week they will solve a certain challenge that a company or the university presented. So this way, once again, you basically put the theoretical knowledge that you learned in your classes into practice. But also when they need to write their thesis and across both program levels, you need to find a company that will give you a real issue to solve. So you will work, once again, observe a company, do some market research, desk research, and see how you can help this business to solve an issue that they gave you. And it can vary from anything. As long as it's business related, you can tap into different areas, into different industries, so you're also not bound to a certain role.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really very valuable experience. I think students cannot get in any university, but they can get it here. But it's not like University of Applied Sciences is only about cases and business and workshops, right? They still write theses, they still write essays. Just to set realistic expectations, they will still have to learn all these academic skills and submit final thesis in that.
Yeah, of course. So of course there is this academic aspect. It's not going to be as scientific as at the research university level, so it is a bit more applied. But for example, if you take a look at our bachelor program, in year 1 you'll have some written exams, but starting the year 2, it is going to be a bit more project-based. So this is also how you will be assessed. And this also translates into our master program, because mainly you will be working on different reports, writing solutions, because it is already preparing you for the real world. But it's not only easy projects, it is going to be real work, because you are delivering solutions to certain issues.
After graduation, when you get a diploma, coming back to research and applied sciences, when you get a diploma of Applied Sciences University and a research university, how does it present yourself on the job market? From your experience, graduates from RUAS, is it easy for them to find a job? And how do employers look at these 2 diplomas?
So basically, upon graduation, no matter if it's a bachelor level or master level, they are labor market ready. And I would say it all depends on your network and seeing how throughout the studies you have the academic knowledge, but also focus on certain skills and competencies that really are practical, more hands-on. These students have easier time in terms of transition. So they don't need so much time in terms of onboarding because they've been doing it. They saw case studies. They also had 2 internships when they're like in the 3rd year and then the final year. So they are kind of a bit more prepared. And for example, you can of course continue once you graduate from a bachelor degree with a master's degree to top up your knowledge. So that's always a pathway. But we do notice that students tend to work right away because especially with their thesis internship, that was their final chance to really showcase who they are. So it could be the case that actually upon graduation they already have a job. And the same thing kind of translates to our master programs because they're also solving an issue. They are making company a bit more better, I would say, in a way. Usually within 6 months our graduates find placement, and it could be either in the Netherlands or abroad.
I've seen cases indeed when students would find jobs via their professors because they are already from this business in the University of Applied Sciences, which is really different from a research university, and that's what students really like. So it's a lot also about networking indeed. So that's a great opportunity. If I'm an international student coming from abroad, what should I expect in terms of living in Rotterdam, about student life and also housing? Can you tell us more about it?
Well, not being biased, I love Rotterdam. It's, in my opinion, the best city in the Netherlands because it's very dynamic. It's always like creating new things, like it's reinventing itself in terms of museums, architecture. Like right now we have a surf pool in the middle of the city. Like, I'm sorry, how many cities can say that? And I think this also kind of shows that it is a dynamic city. It's not, you don't find an old town here. So it's like also very student focused. So there's a lot of different groups that you can find. So no matter your interest, you will find something to do. But housing is an issue in the Netherlands. So we always say you need to start looking for housing as soon as possible. No matter the university or the city, you really, if you know you come to the Netherlands, you start your search, I would say, February, March, so that you're aware like who are the providers, who are the dorms, because usually Dutch universities also we offer dorms, but we always encourage students to look at the private market, and we also list our vetted providers, so we help the students in terms of search. But
because the number of dorms is very limited.
It is very limited because Dutch universities were not allowed to own buildings, so we only reserve rooms. In that sense, you are kind of forced to look on the private market. But here, if you connect with students, if you start looking at different websites, it is possible to find a room. You just really need to stay on top of it and not wait for a conditional admission. So it's better to start February, March, and then continue throughout the summer because more rooms will open up as well.
That's true. It's a very popular destination, but it's worth research.
It is worth it.
Yes. About admissions process, how does it like for international students? How does it look like? Is it the same as for Dutch students? And I know you're not directly from admissions, but you of course also look at the applications. You know, maybe you can share some of the common mistakes. I always ask my colleagues to share. What do you think are the common mistakes students do? What could they avoid?
I would say applying too late. So of course, we have application deadlines, and for our bachelor program, we only have one intake. It's in September, so you can apply for our September intake as of 1st of October. If you have non-EU nationality, you have until the 1st of April to apply and submit your application documents. And if you have EU nationality, then you have until 31st of July to do that. For our master intake programs, we also have a September intake, so the same deadlines apply. But we also have a February intake, and that means that students can apply as of 1st of August if you're a non-EU student, you have until 1st of October to apply, and if you have EU nationality, then until 31st of December. So I would say if you have majority of your documents applied early, because this gives enough time for our admissions team to process your files. And in terms of admissions, no matter the program, we need to see your diploma, we need to see your high school, well, sorry, not high school grades, just grades in general. If you are graduating, then you can also submit an expected graduation statement, so not to wait until the last moment. Depending on your diploma type, we need to see most likely an English proficiency test, CV, motivation letter sometimes as well. And it could be that you're invited for an interview just to see why you're applying for the program, what is your motivation, why the city. So it's kind of basically a verbal form of a motivation letter.
Are the interviews held online or?
Yeah, everything is online for us, of course, because especially for international students, you can't just fly in. So it's a short conversation with one of the representatives to figure out, why are you applying here.
You also participate in this interview?
Yes, so you might see me or one of my colleagues.
Yes. Well, that's an interesting experience, right?
Yeah.
What do you see normally? What type of student is applying to RUAS, and what type of student admission committee is actually looking for in terms of skill set?
Yeah, I would say if we look at all the students that can end up here, they are very proactive. They have the mindset, entrepreneurial mindset, in the sense that they know what they want, or at least they have a slight idea. And even if they don't know exactly in which business direction they're going to go, they're just very open-minded and staying curious and learning about possibilities. We also see students that seek this international collaboration in an environment would thrive the best here. So, and of course, most of the students, they love the city, so that also plays a very major role in their decision-making process, because the city just is amazing. It has a lot of opportunities, a lot of companies are located here. So in terms of, they already think kind of long-term, saying like, I know where we'll do my internship. So very proactive, I would say.
Yes. Thank you. Do they apply via StudyLink?
Yes, so the first step is always study link, and then within a week you'll get login details to our intranet system, Osiris, and then you need to upload your application documents to Osiris Applications. And in a different platform called Osiris Student, that's when you can track your student status, application status.
Can you tell us more about foundation programs? Who they are for, and what do they prepare students for?
Yeah, so we only offer a foundation or actually a pre-master program on our master level, and basically it is intended for students that are doing a career switch. So for example, if you were an art student and all of a sudden you piqued interest in the supply chain field, because supply chain is right now one of the booming industries, so we want to give you a chance to also get that knowledge. So if you don't have relevant work experience or a business background, you can apply for our pre-master program. So in 6 months, it is going to be quite intense. We will ensure that you get the necessary knowledge for your future master program. So it's either in the supply chain field, or shipping and transport, or consultancy entrepreneurship. And then if you successfully complete the pre-master program, you will directly go into the main program.
Yes. So it's a kind of a stepping stone to a master's program, but is it also for students who for some reason were not accepted to masters? Can they still apply to the pre-master to get a second chance?
Yeah, depending on the admission requirements. So here we will really look at the English level, for example, and the educational background plus the work experience. So if that will meet the admission requirements, pre-master could be an option.
Is then the requirement for English lower for pre-masters or not? Because I get a lot of students saying my English is a bit weak, but I want to study masters in the Netherlands. Is foundation a good option for those students?
So for our pre-master program, if you do not meet the English score for the direct entry, but you have at least 1 year of relevant work experience, then you can apply for a pre-master program.
Okay.
So very specifically.
I think that's great. I think we covered most of the things. I was curious about maybe you from your part, you want to share a final piece of advice to international students or share some tips that you think necessary to know.
Yeah, I think, if you're open for adventure, if you're going to stay curious, you will definitely succeed in Rotterdam and Netherlands in general. My best advice is always start the preparation early, not only in terms of housing, but also gathering information on the study programs. We host multiple online sessions in terms of open days where you can join webinars, talk to professors, because the actual professors and course coordinators, they're hosting those webinars. You can basically get all the ins and outs of the future study program that you're going to study, but as well as if you are visiting the Netherlands, for example, and you say you want to get more insight in terms of the campus life, student life, you can always ask for a private tour, and our student ambassador team will organize one and also share their personal experience, because I think students are actually the best way to get the knowledge in terms of the study program and the life. So you can always read about it, but if you talk to someone, I think that's the most effective way, and it will give you more insight and clearer picture into your future life.
So Polina, as an international student, you think, is it okay to write one motivational statement and send to different universities just to see which one will accept you?
No.
No. So it's better to
make it personal a bit, of course.
Working part-time during studies.
Yes, but not right away. So I would say, move to Rotterdam, see if you can balance the workload as well as new culture. And if you really do need to support yourself, please do so, of course. But if you are a master student, we do advise against it, because it's going to be very intense master program, because it's only 1 year.
Applying to RUAS without having any extracurricular activities, so just the diploma.
Still okay, yes.
Still okay. Reaching out to admissions to ask questions about documents, about their chances, etc.
Yes.
Many times.
Well, there should be a limit, but we're always here to help you. So if you send one email, don't send a follow-up being right away, where's my answer to my email?
But it's common for students to contact
Yes, of course. You can always contact us via chat, via phone, or even book an online call with one of the representatives.
That's great. And skipping a lecture sometimes if I want to grab a coffee in this fabulous cafes downstairs.
Well, I mean, it's always a double. I mean, you can do it because, you are an adult. No one is forcing you to show up to lectures, so it's all about time management. If you can manage your time and you know that you'll pull a late night session at the library or with your focus group or, project group, I think then it's okay, but don't do it always,
because attendance is regulated.
For some lectures, yes, definitely. But at the end of the day, you are kind of sabotaging yourself. So you need to be the one in control and saying, will I sabotage myself today or not?
Yeah. Thank you for a very interesting conversation. I think it was really informative, and it was a pleasure speaking to you and being at this fabulous campus. Stay in touch.
Thank you so much. Thank you.